Welcome inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Dan Hope joined by Garrick Hodge as a big weekend for Ohio State recruiting, as Ohio State has landed a pair of defensive standouts in the last 2 days. On Friday, Ohio State landing a commitment from Atlanta, Georgia defensive end London Merritt. And then on Saturday evening, Ohio State landing a commitment from Florida linebacker Tarvos Alford. Tarvos Alford ranked well within the top 100. London Merritt ranked just outside the top 100 of 24/7 Sports' composite rankings. So these are two big wins for Ohio State on the recruiting trail. Garrick, why should Ohio State fans be excited about these guys?
Well, when one Alford closes, another one opens. Terrible joke, but nonetheless, this is a high-priority linebacker target for Ohio State and new linebacker coach James Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis put in the work with Alford. He went to see him in Florida twice in January to show just how much of a priority commitment he was to him. And Alford, quite frankly, showed him the same love. I think that this recruitment has been decided for a little bit. I say decided, with the caveat that nothing is truly ever decided until we get to signing day in December. But I think that Ohio State's getting a heck of a linebacker that's really versatile and can do a lot of different things on the field.
And London Merritt now pairing with Zahir Mathis in this class of Ohio State defensive ends. This is a big need position for Ohio State in this class. Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau out entering their senior years. Obviously, Ohio State has had some high-profile misses at that position in the last few years, but getting Zahir Mathis and London Merritt is a fantastic start for Larry Johnson.
Oh, no doubt. For all the heat that Larry Johnson has taken in his defensive line recruiting, he certainly answered that and more. With Zahir Mathis and London Merritt. London Merritt, who was here today, just decided to go ahead and pull the trigger. He'd been leaning Ohio State for quite a while now and decided to make it official yesterday. But I don't know if he'll quite take other visits. I think this one is you can feel pretty good about, with the caveat that as long as Larry Johnson's here, that I think he's going to end up playing for Ohio State. But I love the pairing of defensive end that Ohio State has because Zahir Mathis is more of a speed rusher, kind of a guy that you can build around with his frame at 6'6", 225 more or less. And London Merritt's more of like a 6'3", 250 guy that's more of a sheer power rusher. And they complement each other really well. And quite frankly, I'm excited to see the pass rush combination that Larry Johnson can experiment with next season at Ohio State.
Ohio State now up to 9 total commits in the 2025 class, and some big names in that class. Of course, headlined by what Tim Walton has done at the cornerback position with Naeem Offord, Devin Sanchez leading the way, as well as Blake Woodby. Tavian St. Clair has steadily risen up the rankings to become one of the top quarterbacks in the 2025 class. Carter Lowe, a top offensive tackle in the class, and they had some top prospects on campus today as well. I think probably headlined by David Sanders, the #1 offensive tackle in the 2025 class. Just what do you think of Ohio State's chances of landing Sanders and maybe getting some more commitments coming out of this big weekend?
Well, it'll be tough to get them this weekend, but you can't rule anything out. I think a lot of the fireworks will really happen around June, and maybe the 4th of July is a really big commitment weekend. So once official visits get going, I think you'll start to see things really pick up on the trail. Not that they haven't already, because 2 commitments in 1 weekend is a pretty great event. But in terms of answering your question about Sanders, I think Ohio State's got a great shot. I don't know if I'd call them the favorite. I'm not ready to go out on a limb quite yet there. But I think that nationally Ohio State hasn't really been talked up for Sanders. And I think that Ohio State is definitely going to do everything they can to land a player of this caliber. I think Clemson would probably be the favorite if you asked me today, but I think that Ohio State isn't going to go down without a fight, and they have the resources to make this a fight as well.
Well, plenty of recruiting news to come here in the coming weeks. Another couple of big visit weekends coming up. Of course, the spring game in 2 weeks from today, and so we'll be covering it all at 11 Warriors. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Press Coverage.